I would like to bring up a topic that I think might cause a fight.
Fantastic.
The 15-inning game.
Whew. Tom didn't even remind me to talk about this. Listen, I put it out there on the Twitter sphere. A lot of people on the Twitter sphere are like, oh, it's not baseball. It's not baseball. Ugh. It is. Both teams play by the same rules. I don't understand how. I know that it's cool once it's over. It's like they played 15 innings. What a cool game. It was epic. Like, yeah, sure. But is that really the type of like entertainment that people want? Like, do people
in the
really
playoffs?
want?
Yes. In the playoffs, yes.
4 hours, 57 minutes was the official
In
game time.
July 17th, no, don't want to see it.
I don't know. I watched that game. I turned it on, I don't know, 5th or 6th or something. And I watched it and kept up. The amount of like 1, 2, 3 innings with like a week, and the shadows were horrible. And it's not like
that's what people don't understand, how bad those shadows were.
Shadows are miserable. And it's not that the, like, you know, people were saying like, oh, the Cleveland offense, how are they going to stack up when they have to go play in the DS? That the shadows were so bad, and nobody was going to hit at that time, no matter what. But I just think if you put a guy on second base in that situation, you get more strategy, you get some bunts, you get a ground ball becomes more exciting to the right side to get the guy over, you get infield in. Some other things can happen that are way more exciting than watching 5 to 7 straight innings of 1, 2, 3 with a couple punch outs and a weak ground ball. What, Tom? What do you want?
I'm sorry. You're talking about putting the worst rule in sports into the playoffs now? What are we doing? What are we talking about? I like baseball. Do you like baseball? I love watching more baseball. Why don't you want to watch more baseball? I don't even understand the genesis of this argument.
This is a podcast divided because I'm with Ian. I don't
in the playoffs.
I don't need to watch 1, 2, 3 innings for 3 straight hours.
No,
give me some excitement. Give me some gamesmanship where, oh, did they bunt him over here? Did they do this? Did they do? I'm with Ian. I think that's more entertaining than watching just 1, 2, 3.
Okay, then if that's the case, and if we want more hitting, don't start games at certain times where you know there's the shadows.
It was a noon game. It was a noon game. The shadows weren't supposed to be bad. A noon game. If it would have started at 3, I would say, yeah, you're right. There's going to be no offense at 3:00 because we started the last game of the season at 3:00. Let me tell you, it's fucking brutal until the sun went down.
Didn't you guys score 15 runs?
Yeah, because the sun went down. Once the sun went down, things got hot. But what I'm saying is that once you hit that window, that like 4:00 to 6:00 window, like, yeah, there was going to be no scoring, but they started the game at noon. So if they would have just completed 9 innings, they wouldn't have had any issues. It got bad after they got into extras, but there's what is the fascination with it's not baseball when both teams have the same fucking thing? What are we talking about?
Yeah, no, I totally understand, but then why did we change? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it in the playoffs.
I just think it's a solution searching for a problem. I don't think there's any issue with the game on Saturday. I thought it was great. I just had a great time.
Okay, who are they playing? The Indians are playing the
Rays.
If the Rays win that game, who the fuck is pitching the next day?
That's part of the strategy. There you go. There's the strategy, the little gamesmanship you guys were talking about.
I think it's an issue. I think that you're going to get guys hurt. And I think that you end. Oh, Tom. Oh God, fuck.
No,
what do you mean? If you're a dude that has to throw in that situation, it's the playoffs. You're giving it everything you got. You're going to go back out there and you're going to throw the next day. If you blow out and can't play the next season, no fans give a fuck. Nobody cares about that guy once he gets blown out. But he might be out for an entire year because he had to do that and throw 2 straight days. And people are going to say, well, that's the job, whatever. That's real world shit.
Do you think that point is the deciding factor if somebody blows out or not, if they throw back-to-back days like that?
Yes. No, not the deciding factor, but 100%. The difference between
I think it expedites the process. Yeah, I think it'll happen. Maybe it happens October 12th opposed to April 3rd next year.
No, I disagree. because I think the difference, like it's the same thing. Say you tweak your hamstring. Like if your hamstring's sore and you go out there and sprint, there's a better chance you tear it than if it's
for sure
rested. And I'm not saying you need to be fully rested every single time you pitch, but
I was going to say, when was the last time you felt
and I'm not saying that
throwing?
But you know what I mean? If you're throwing a high leverage 13th inning and you're throwing max after everything you throw because you can't blow the game, and then they ask you to pitch the next day, like, I mean, you got to do it. It's the playoffs, but I think you have a higher chance, yes, of blowing out that.
But then
day.
if you're hurt, you can say, hey, I'm hurt. And then you bring somebody else in who's on the taxi squad.
But do you think
I understand, but if you think you're going to blow out.
Yes. Oh, 100%. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, I can't even pick up a baseball, then yes, say something. But you know how, like, listen, if I think I can do it, I'm going to try.
I'm more so, I think I'm a little indifferent, but I just think, like in the playoffs, I think that they stopped that for a reason, because you play, I don't know. It's just like you earn the right to get to second base in the playoffs.
I'm not a player. Was not rolling my eyes at you when you said players get hurt. I think that's a fair, I don't have a rebuttal to that because I'm not a player and I'm not a player safety expert. What I would say to you is when I think back to the teams that I covered, the teams that I worked with, I think back to, I'll always remember when I worked with the Bellingham Bells, we played an 18-inning game in Walla Walla, Washington, on July 3rd.
That can't be a real. That's not
Walla Walla.
We went to
Walla Walla. Fantastic
Washington,
name.
Played an 18-inning game, 6 hours, longest game in franchise history. Finished at 2 a.m. Turn around, played a 10 a.m. game the next morning. 3 hours, 59 minutes. 16-12. Like, I'll just never forget like those kind of experiences. And you think back to what makes
what level was this? What level was this?
That was summer ball. That was collegiate summer.
They couldn't have made the next game 5 innings.
Well,
Walla Walla.
Discussion for
Walla.
But you think about like that 2018 World Series. I think about that extra inning bonanza game in there. Like those games to me become some of the most historic in the history of baseball, and to take those away to me, I mean, I'm not a player. So if you guys think this is a huge issue, then, obviously I would disagree with you, but I'm not a player, so I can't speak to that. But I don't think this is a problem. I didn't feel like I understood why we did it during the regular season. I'm obviously anti it doing it during the regular season. We've talked about maybe there's some sort of buffer period. If you think we need that during the playoffs, I think that's honestly criminally insane. But again, I recognize that I might be an asshole. I might be in the minority. So, but I have to say,
Tom, you're not an asshole.
I have to say that I think this is criminally insane, and I love the playoffs the way they are. And I don't think
I was shocked by the amount of fans and people that responded to me saying, "Not in the playoffs. It's the worst rule in baseball." I think it's a more entertaining product. I think it's more exciting. And like, to say that it's not just because a guy starts on second base, it's not like only one team gets to start on second base. It's not like the team in the top, if they score, the game's over. Like, it's not like it's not a level playing field. I think, does it favor the team that has more contact hitters and the team that has more swing and miss pitchers? Yeah, probably. But I wouldn't say that it's like a less appealing thing, but I get that there's people out there that want traditional baseball, and that's okay. We're all entitled to our baseball opinions. Zach is watching the game. Dakota's sending a message. What else would you
got a lot going? Hey, it's the middle of the day,
What do you got?
But no, I see both sides of the argument. 100%. I get it. It's fun for some people. I'm with Ian in that, like, I don't need to see a ground out, pop up, strikeout, ground up, pop ups, like, for 2 straight hours.
Hey, you want to hit?
I'm not saying
you want to fucking hit there, Meckus.
I am in no way saying hitting's easy. I'm just saying I get what Ian is saying in that that's just too long for me.
Totally, totally.
And Tom, yes, I want to see the ratings from that game.
I see your side though on the postseason of like you're hanging on the edge of every pitch, and I get that. That is awesome.
I was gonna say, I think that's, to me, what makes those long playoff games fun is the anticipation, right? That at any moment, what happened in Saturday's game, especially in a tie game when the Guardians are batting, at any moment, the next pitch, the game could be over.
One
But there's
swing of the
that.
bat.
How do you not have that same excitement when there's just a guy on second base? You're not taking away excitement. You're not like stealing people's excitement. You're still excited about every single pitch.
I'm less. I don't know what you want me to. I'm less excited.
You're less excited when there's a guy on base because
in
the normal game,
in
the normal game, when the guy hits a double to lead off the inning, you're like, holy fucking shit!
The guy hit a double. I just don't want him to get to second by nothing. Rob Manfred put him on second. I just think we should, he should earn second.
Ian Happ put him on second. MLBPA.
Yeah, I would vote to put him on second every day and twice on Sundays.
Was that a conversation, Hap?
When the initial rule was made?
Yeah, like, hey, playoffs, we're doing it.
I can't remember if they wanted to do it in the playoffs or not, but I know that there was enough old school baseball guys that didn't like the rule that it was pretty easy to not have it in the playoffs. Let's go to the next series. Phillies, Cards. Phillies played really well. Phillies played good baseball. The Cards kind of gave up that first one. They looked like they were rolling. Momentum shifted. And the starting pitching from the Phillies was unbelievable. I think big advantage for the other three series that wasn't the Mets series that went 2 games that they were able to just clip both and keep everybody rested up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nothing too crazy happened in that series. At least that I noticed,
except for the first game. They blew the lead.
Yes, true.
Hopefully, I'm hoping Ryan Helsley is okay. I know he had a little bit of finger numbness or something, and that's always scary as a pitcher. So
that is not good.
No, and they you know what, they were a really good team all year. The Cardinals, I was hoping, and Cubs fans might get mad at me for this, but I was hoping they would get to play a little deeper in the postseason to really show the depth and what they had.
And Cubs fans hate you.
Cubs fans do hate me, but
because once the Cubs didn't make the playoffs, all they had was rooting against the Cardinals.
A lot of people are rooting against the Cardinals. I get it.
Anything for the Cardinals to lose.
Yeah, I get it. But I do think I think they were a really good team, and I always tend. Some people don't feel this way, players, fans for sure, but some players too. But I always tend to root for the division. In the playoffs.
Psycho. I've never understood that. That's like in college.
I have a lot of respect for the guys that we play against the most.
No.
I have a lot of respect for them. We go out there and we compete, but
in college, people are like, "Oh, like we went to Michigan State, but we're rooting for Michigan because it's Big Ten." No, that's your rival. I hope they lose. I hope they get murdered. I hope they lose by 1 million. I would never root for a team that's like our rival. What? No way.
That's fair. That's
Zach,
fair.
are you out there rooting for the Guardians? Go Guards.
I played the fifth here.
I wouldn't say that it's like a pure rooting. I just wanted to see. I would have liked to see the way they stacked up against one of either the Braves or the Dodgers.
And especially you play against them all year, kind of what they have. I think it's a different perspective watching too. Like you can almost be like, oh, they're going to bring in so-and-so here. This is what they did against us all year, and you kind of want to show, like what you said, show what that team has and what you faced all year.
I think there's also like, I don't know. Some people don't feel this way, but I think that like when your division looks good.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, because people talk a lot of shit on the NL Central this year, and which, there were some teams that struggled. That's fair. But they also like, there's some good talent in the division. And when the division stacks up well in the playoffs and there's teams in there and you can say like, no, the NL Central had some very, very good baseball players. I think people talk about that way about the AL East. All the AL East is fucking awesome. And when the Central gets shit on, take a little bit of pride in the fact that there's a lot of really good players in that division. So that's more of it than like actually like rooting for the Cardinals,
Zach, does Robbie look kind of swaggy? Sorry.
He wears the same thing every game.
Just watch him does he wear pants up though?
Yes.
How far ahead are you? It's a full count right now. He just took a ball in the dirt. God.
That was a good take too.
So if there's one thing that can get you through the playoffs this year, if there's one thing that I think Dakota's waking up every morning, he's saying, if I'm going to get through a 3-game wild card, a 5-game DS, and a couple of 7-game series, I'm going to need my AG1. I'm going to need it.
I that is true because I mailed home my baseball stuff this year because I couldn't carry it all on the plane. I would have had too many bags, and my athletic greens were in it. Just got back a couple days ago. I was fiending for it.
And you said, freak yeah.
Freak yeah, I need it.
Had it every morning since I've been home. I love it. Little morning routine. Get your AG in.
75, count them, 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics. That's the best I've ever done that read. Special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Because look at Dakota's skin glow. He looks fantastic. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no chemicals, no tasty chemicals. That's an interesting way to say that, or artificial anything. And it tastes great. Athletic Greens, free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. athleticgreens.com/compounds, athleticgreens.com/compound.
You did great on that one, Ian. Proud of
Thanks. I felt really good about that. My diction was right on.
Whoa.
The other series, there's one other series.
That was all of them. It's 4.
Do we talk about all 4?
Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't really talk about the Guardians Rays. We just talked about the one long game.
Yeah.
The Guardian, I will say that team is fun to watch because I've played against those guys the last 2 years, and it's basically all of the Columbus Clippers on that team. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like you're always told, like, whenever you're on a team, like, oh man, so many of these guys will be in the big leagues, whatever. And you look around at the time, you're like, I don't see this guy having a 10-year big league career. I don't see this guy hitting 260 in his first big league year. And then it's like, you look up there and you're like, holy shit, this guy's hitting 6th or 5th and he's 23 years old. And like, I've played against this guy 2 years in a row. And then the last 2, like, the Guardians are so proactive with bringing their guys up that you play against them once, you might not see them again for the rest of the year. And that team is like, goes off of what we said last week about the culture and everything. Like, those guys learn to win at every step together. And then they get there and it's just like, they're playing with their boys. We
played the Clippers this year, and they spanked us. We gave up 61 runs in 6 games. Next time we played them, completely different lineup. All those guys were in the show.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we got them all called up.
It truly does mean something when you're playing in such big games and you look to your left and your right, and it's the same guy you've played with the last 4 years in the minor leagues. Like, yeah, obviously trades help teams and stuff, but like at the same time, I think that goes, again, as I've expressed last week, that goes such a long way.
It's a big deal. And guys get close really quick that way. It's really easy to, when the whole group knows each other, to then, like, the guys that have been there, they know these dudes have been in the organization. It's easy for everybody to mesh. And like, that's so important when you're trying to win a division, trying to win a playoff series. Like, all that shit matters. It's really hard when you put together, 15 guys or 20 guys that have played together for 6 months or have never played together but know each other, and then try to like have this like cohesive unit of like what it means. Like, those guys know what it means to be a Guardian or like part of the organization. Like, they have those core values instilled in them from an early age, and so they all like really care about that uniform and what they're doing.
For sure.
I
thought the 3-game wild card was great.
It's way better than 1 game.
For sure. Because in the 1 game, it fluky stuff can happen. In 3 games, like, you're going to find out typically like which team's probably the better team.
And I think when you win, like, the only 1 game went to 3 games. The other ones were 2 in a row. But I think
they were pretty close games.
Yeah, but no one can now be like, oh, we didn't get to see the rest of the Mets. They were, such a good team. They should have moved on. San Diego just got lucky in game 1. Like, they played 3 games. They had to see all 3 of their starters. You got to see all of San Diego's. And then the other 2 series, it's not like, nobody's like, that was a fluke. It really is. It's like you earned your way to the next round. And I think it feels a lot easier to say the Mets had a good season. They didn't get it done, even though they lost 101 games, than it did last year.
How are we feeling about our predictions?
Well, you know what I did with my predictions? I just went with teams that got buys so that I wouldn't have to
same here.
Wouldn't have to look stupid early on.
Who did I pick the Yankees to play? Did I say the Phillies? I actually don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I might have said Mets.
We're gonna have to check
I
the
don't
tape
think
on
so.
that. I went Yanks and Braves.
Yeah.
We got Bryce Harper with a sack bunt
What are we doing?
in the
Stop
third
telling
inning.
me things before they happen. I'm like
That's
6
crazy.
pitches behind.
Sorry. Just had a sack bunt from Bryce Harper.
Was it a real? Was it
No,
a was it a sack or was he trying to bunt for a
He was
hit?
trying to go to third.
Do you guys see
I don't
Do you guys
know.
see when I bunted for a hit in the last series of the year or second to last series of the year?
Did not.
He was.
I'm not.
He was.
I'm not trying to fluff myself, but I set him up all year. Yeah, I think that was for a hit and something crazy.
It was, and he pulled it to first somehow. That was really weird.
Bunting's hard. I set him up all year. I'm just gonna tell a quick story about myself. I set him up all year. I didn't bunt at all. Didn't even square one time, I don't think. And the Reds played me like back, like the third baseman was playing shortstop. And I told our third base coach, Willie Harris, that at some point I was going to bunt this year. He had been on me to try to get one down. And I went first pitch, slider right down the middle. Perfect bunt. Unbelievable. That's just a story about me. Felt really good.
I didn't see it, but I bet it was really cool.
Yeah, thanks. Felt good about it.
So, Ian, where are you right now in the game?
They're
Castellanos.
replaying the Harper bunt 7 times.
I was going to say, is Castellanos on second yet or no?
You know what? You know what would be massive for Castellanos and the Phillies fans would be if he's just an absolute playoff stud and gets to.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is like, again, you have somebody. It's like the Padres situation. Like that guy has banged at every single level he's been, or every single team he's been at. The capability of him to bang is very, very possible.
There's also something. There's something about. It doesn't matter how much you get paid. It doesn't matter. He signed a 5 for $100. He's been a good player forever. It doesn't necessarily matter that he just wants to win and because there is that, like, you want to live up to the contract. You want to have a good year. You want to go out. And so when you start slow and that stuff starts piling up, it is hard to get out of it. And when it gets reset, when things get reset and he doesn't have to worry about the year he had, he gets to be free and just go out and play and win games. Like there's a powerful thing. And I wouldn't put it past. He's a great hitter.
That it's such a good point, Ian. It's like when you're grinding and you feel like you don't have any at bats to give up towards the middle of the end of the year, when you see your average, your OPS going down, you're like, yeah, as great as it is to get the guy over here, I'm still 0 for 1. But like, if you get a guy over in the playoffs, like that could be season changing. You know, again, it sounds weird saying that because you always play to win the game like that, but in your head mentally, it's just a little bit different in the playoffs when you know, just like every pitch kind of matters. Where I'm not saying it doesn't matter in the regular season, obviously, but you know what I'm talking about.
I think that like I experienced it in 2020, where I struggled, short season, but I struggled down the stretch in September. Had a little injury thing, and then I kind of struggled, just was going through a little bit of a rut. And when that season at the end is sneaking up on you, you're trying to hold on, which is like the exact opposite of what I should have been doing. But learning experience. Once we reset, we got a couple of days off before the playoffs. I was like in a totally different headspace when we started. And I went out having like really struggled in September, and we're facing Sixto Sanchez and Sandy Alcantara the first 2 games, and 2 hits in both games, and just felt like a completely like different person. Like it's just sometimes you get that little reset and you feel like you're back to yourself just because of that little mental break.
How different is I think this is a question that's kind of underlining all this, but you've played in the postseason. How different is the postseason just compared to, your average typical game against the Marlins?
It's different. It's there's so many more people around. There's so much more like expectation, but I do think that there is, depending on what year, we've had different from the 3 times that I've been there, different both all the time, but there is at times a little bit of a freedom in the postseason of just like, hey, we all are tight. We've been together a long time. We care about each other. Like, we're just gonna go and play as hard as we can. And like the teams that really have that like good run in the playoffs, they just are like, fuck it, and we're just gonna go out and play and do it. And I think that's the difference of the post. And they're all like really exciting atmospheres and environments. But the teams that kind of lift the pressure off by just really coming together and having that group mentality that's like the exciting part when you're on one of those groups.
I wouldn't know. I've never been there.
It is.
I didn't know what to respond.
It is just it's a little bit of a different beast in the sense that there's just so much going on all the time. What
did you see what Garrett Cole said?
No,
he said, I think it was McCann said it to him. He said like the postseason is a drug. He's like, once you go, like you want to go back so bad. He's like, 'cause it's so much fun and it's so cool. It's like you get addicted to wanting to just play in the postseason every year.
Yeah, and the tough thing for me in my postseason career is that the only time that I played in it as a starter, as like I was going to be in the top of the lineup, was in 2020 with no fans, and it was 2 games. So like, and I let off both those games, but it was different. My first 2 years in 17 and 18. 17, I was coming off the bench. I got 1 start, but I was coming off the bench primarily to face Kenley Jansen and get my bat broken. And then the next year we just played that 1 game against the Rockies. So I didn't really get a chance to be in it and a starter. I was kind of more like waiting until I was going to come in the game as a defensive replacement or a pinch runner or get a pinch hit, which is just such a different mindset and experience, because there's, at that point, you're amped up, but you don't have anywhere to put that energy. And so it's just like a constant, nope.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And you're just trying to like stay ready to at the same time.
Yeah. And I in 20, there was no fans, but I felt like so much more of a sense of relief and freedom to just go play, because like I knew what I had to do. I knew what my job was, which was a really nice.
And you knew you were in there. Yeah.
And that is like the drug part of it. Like I want so badly to get back to the playoffs so that I can pop champagne and celebrate with the guys, but also so that I can like have that experience again of going out there with the freedom and competing, just like winning.
Sure.
Popping champagne. I told this to Scotty when they clinched. He was like, "This is so fucking cool." And I was like, champagne and Bud Heavies is only ever a good combo in one situation. And it is the best fucking thing you will ever experience. You give someone champagne and Bud Heavies on a Saturday, they're like, what the fuck? I would never do that. When you are in that clubhouse and you have champagne all over you and you're drinking Bud Heavies and a cigar, it's fucking magic. It's fucking magic.
Bud Heavies.
And I would do anything to experience that again. Anything. Bud Heavies.
Did you wear glasses?
I never wore goggles.
Yep. That's the way to do it. You gotta feel the burn. Don't know when you're gonna get it back.
I think 1 year though, I can't remember what which year it was. It was definitely not my rookie year, but it was one of the next ones. I think I tried to sneak a sweatshirt on. It's so cold. It is so cold. I think I tried to sneak like a shirt on or something, and Riz didn't let me.
Riz.
It was just like absolutely. He was like, absolutely not. Damn it.
You're like, come on, man. It's freezing in here.
It is so cold. The champagne is so cold. And I don't like being cold.
I never thought about the champagne being cold. That's such like a little detail that I would never.
That's why, if you see him like go up to reporters and stuff, they're all like, "Oh my god, it's so cold."
It's frigid. People are just, you never know. It's getting sprayed on you. It's getting dumped down your back. Beers on your head, and it is just, it's so cold. But it's the best.
Well, after that's done, like, is there no you have to shower, right? Is there like?
Oh yeah. You shower. You're just like drenched and disgusting for a couple hours, and then you shower, and you're like.
It's gross. It gets in your eyes, like in your eyelids and stuff, and you blink, and it feels like you have dumbbells attached to it. It's just like, this is disgusting.
It is, and it burns.
Not that I've done it at the major league level. Did it in Eugene. and Iowa.
What's the difference? I don't get the difference.
Beats me.
Hey, champagne's still cold in Eugene.
That's
Damn
right.
right it is.
Especially
in September.
Let's do our screen time and let the people go. They want to watch the Phillies and the Braves. And then when
I
they
don't
listen
think
to
they're
this,
listening along with us.
no,
though.
maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Are we doing yesterday then? We can't do today, right?
No, let's do today.
It's going to be small time. Why is mine not updating?
Yeah, we're doing today. So, okay.
Let's do today. Or we could go back and do Sunday.
Don't matter.
Why
What's
not
wrong
yesterday?
with Monday?
No,
What's
we're
wrong
not
on
doing
Monday?
Sundays.
But we're not going to do tomorrow. We're not going to do yesterday. I mean, we're not going to do yesterday. But we can do either
tomorrow.
Sunday or today.
Mine for tomorrow is 0 right now.
Would you want to do yesterday? You want to do yesterday? I'm not happy about mine. Pretty sad.
Mine's- oh, there it goes. Just loaded. Yesterday or yeah, we're
Let's
not doing Sunday.
221 on Sunday for me. 221.
Sunday does not count. No one cares about either yesterday or today. What are we doing?
511 yesterday for me. 511. Not proud of it. Getting it out of the way.
Mine's 6:17 yesterday.
Yes. Oh my God.
7:40.
Whoa.
And you know what hurt it though is I went golf and I went a little solo golf and I had 18 birdies up the whole time. You know, keeping track of my shots and all that.
Yeah,
but,
no,
you know, no
we believe you.
excuses. There's no
We believe
excuses because there was also an hour and a half on TikTok. So
Tom, what'd you
what
have?
happens.
What'd you have?
8:15.
Oh, let's go. He saved me.
I
Thank you.
can't
Tom.
believe I was the winner.
Dakota, you're still using 18 birdies?
I ain't paying for grin.
Grin. What's grin?
Grid. What's it called?
Gin.
Gin? I don't know. Oh, gin rummy or gin.
We
gin
can
with
talk
alcohol?
about the Jets being 3-2 if we want to.
Zach, you've been playing golf.
No, I've only played a few times.
You've changed, man.
He's wifed up, man. He's busy.
You've changed.
No, I've had a lot on my plate the last week or so.
Sad.
Cat.
I have
All right.
this weekend. If you guys come to my house and we're playing, so
Hey, Tom, before we go, we do owe you an apology
Thank you.
because I was going to say that there is exigent. What's the word? Exigent? Big word. Different circumstances where like Chapman
Extenuating.
chose to just
Extenuating?
sure that word sounds
my God.
exigent. I
Exigent.
feel like that's a word. I thought there were outside circumstances that Chapman just chose to leave, but I saw a report that said like he was probably going to be left off anyway. And he
I
might
think
have made it.
ironically, Miguel Castro is now on the roster because Scott's not there, and I think
And it
ironically, it would have probably been Aroldis Chapman probably getting added today had he decided to show up to the workouts.
But I personally am sorry because we doubted you. I said no way, and what do we know? It shows you're just the bigger Yankees fan. I get it.
Hey, there's always room in the bandwagon.
Ian and Zach, would you like to say anything?
got nothing.
I would like to apologize for absolutely nothing. We'll see you next week.